All right, we're live in Pittsburgh at the Andy Russell Celebrity Golf Classic, and I'm a Beach Lifestyle celebrity segment, and I'm just blown away that my childhood hero I'm getting to interview, Rocky Blier. Thanks for stopping by.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
I'm just enthused.
I have to take exception, which is childhood hero, which makes me old. But that's all right. At least you remember. At least I'm on your show. That's good.
Exactly. No, but
right.
I mean, just your story is just unbelievable for people that have forgotten the story. I mean,
that's right. That's usually happens.
I tried talking to young people about this, and they tell me, well, they know you as a super Steeler, but not how resilient you were. I mean, the story, being wounded, Purple Heart. I mean, all these things. I mean, it's something that you should be considered the greatest comeback person.
Well, I don't know. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. Yeah. But I think if it's a story, I think it's a story. It's an American story. I think that's what this country's been built on. People with resilience, people with an idea in their mind, and in the persistence not to give up that dream of achievement. And part of my story is that I grew up in the Midwest, and I grew up in Appleton, Wisconsin, and I got a chance to go to Notre Dame and play. But in each one of those segments, and I say this, it was an organization that, from the success of the organization, and you're a part of it, kind of propels you into a different sphere. So in high school, and not to brag, but in high school, we had never lost a football game. And so we were the number one ranked team in the state of Wisconsin all the way back in 1962. But I say that, why? Because all of a sudden you get recognized, or the team does, and so all of a sudden people who play on the team get recognized, and I get to go to Notre Dame. In 64, Ara Parsegian comes in. Things change, rules change, but in 3 years, my junior year, we win a national championship. And because of that group, you get recognized, and I get drafted in the NFL by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, maybe I wasn't their first choice.
Right. Okay.
And or their top 10 list. I was the 417th person picked in the draft that year. So I was a 16th round draft choice. But when you're out of the Midwest, you go, hey, at least I'm not the last guy picked, because there were 17 rounds. Exactly. I might be able to make this team. And so I made the team, special teams, never, played that year. And then, it was a 14-game season. And after the 11th game, I, got drafted by Uncle Sam, and my draft notification came through, and so I couldn't finish the season. Went to basic training, and then went to Vietnam, and ultimately, as the story goes, I got wounded twice in an action in Vietnam, in both my legs, and the prognosis was that I would not be able to come back and play.
Yes.
And so it was a long time of rehab, not only to get during the period of time when I was still in the service, but then thereafter. And there's always, and part of this and a part of the life is that opportunities that present themselves, but also turning points.
Exactly.
People that have a belief in you and or give you that opportunity. In this case specifically, and part of the story is that I had asked my doctor when I was in Tokyo that underlying question that we have, or especially a young athlete has, well, what do you think, Doc? Do you think I can go back and play this game?
Right.
And his response was, don't worry about it. You're going to have a normal life. Don't expect to. You just won't have the strength maybe or the flexibility to be a running back. And so he just kind of sucked that hope out, he's as an authority figure, your doctor, and you kind of go, oh, okay, I guess. Shortly thereafter, and I say shortly, a day or 2 days, unbeknownst to me, I get a postcard in the mail, simple postcard, and it says this: Rock, team's not doing well. We need you.
Oh, my.
Art Rooney.
Yes.
Well, they didn't need me, but the idea
is just a great.
It was like somebody cared, somebody had an interest.
That's the Roonies for you,
and that was the Roonies, and that's the way they've always been. And they came back And again, for whatever reason, they bought me a year. They put me on injured reserve that year, and I had another operation. And I came back the following year, and I made the taxi squad again. So what they did was they bought me 2 years. 2 years to heal, 2 years to get bigger, stronger,
exactly,
do all those things are necessary. And then you were kind of on your own in 1972. I make the team again in 72, but it's special teams. I'm back playing special teams as I was as a rookie. But magical things happen in 72. First time the team kind of coalesces. We win the division, and we have the immaculate reception, and turns the tide, and there's kind of hope in the air. And you come back and you work and you work and you work, and then all of a sudden there's a break here and an injury there, and you get a chance to play, and the rest becomes history then thereafter, after 12 years and 4 Super Bowls.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, so but it's a matter of it's a matter of having opportunities that present themselves, but also the desire and the dream of wanting and the hard work to go through. So when I came back from Vietnam as a lot of soldiers, but I weighed 165 pounds.
Yeah, no, it's not for the NFL.
So I can't play in the NFL.
Right, exactly.
So you got to get your body weight, you got to get your strength. That takes time, and then you got to prove yourself. But you have to have the opportunity to be able to prove yourself. So that's what the Rooney family gave me, and ultimately you have to take advantage of those things,
those opportunities, and you're very humble because to be able to be wounded and then come back and play in the NFL. I wonder if anyone's ever done that before after you.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So that puts you. I'm not saying on a pedestal. But you're being very, very humble.
Right.
But the story of you had a lot of adversity just to even make the team. I remember I saw the movie and read the book. So
because the book is true. I didn't exaggerate at all within the book. The movie is true. Robert Urich played the movie. Now, for people who go, well, the movie, oh yeah, well, it was a made-for-television movie. So don't go because you can't find it on Netflix or anything because it's not out there on DVD.
Right, I remember watching it on television.
It was on television every now and then, especially during the playoffs. Will some network start running football movies, and it may pop up during that period of time. But Robert Urich, who played the role, it was a 70s movie because it was shot in 79, but it was a 70s movie. I look back at it in time, I'm going, oh my God, I lived during that period. I'm embarrassed because of how our hair was long, we wore plaids, and oh wow. Yeah. Anyway, but I'm glad Robert Urich, because as people may remember me then, because that's how I see myself. Right, okay. Tall, good-looking, a lot of hair. And so he played the role, and it was fine. People say, "Well, how do you think? What do you think about the movie? What do you think about the movie?" I'm going, "Hey, they made a movie about me. It could be bad. They still made a movie about me." And so it's kind of nice to have that happen.
It was an impression on me because I saw the hard work, and I saw somebody that you were the story of Rocky before the story of Rocky.
Right. Yeah.
And they talked about how Rocky stole the story from a boxer, but we have to think about Rocky Blier as well.
That's kind of you think.
Because, the way you came back, the way everyone said, there's no chance, you have no chance in the world, and you were able to do it. And that's fantastic. Yeah. And I think that's where you see these events raising money for charities, saying people that truly need the help in certain ways and helping out causes that keeps you going because you want to definitely give back.
Well, I think also one of the things that has taken place, and especially with the team, and especially with the Rooneys, especially with the guys that I played with, and the guys that are showing up here, and maybe it was an era of giving back. It was part of the expectation. You have an opportunity to play a sport. That's a kid's sport, but you get to play it into young adulthood and a continuation of it. And you come into a community like Pittsburgh, and they pay good money to have a performance on the field, and so you have an obligation. I really feel you have an obligation to give back to that community and to those fans for all those years of support. And Andy has done it as well as other players. LC's got a golf tournament, and there's numerous others as they show up to support, these local events. And that becomes very important.
And the Rooneys just, again, they took a chance on you. Then you also saw how just absolutely the chief, and that to know the chief.
Yeah.
I mean, amazing. And I'll be getting to talk to his grandson today. And I mean, that's unbelievable as well. Because to know the chief and to understand specifically about the giving back. And that's what makes the Steelers so special.
Yeah, and you're right. And in part of that is instilled by that organization and by the chief. In all the great stories about him and what he had done for not only this community, but for people unknown to the masses or to the general public. And the organization still does that. Takes care of people without fanfare or players without fanfare. Exactly. And I think that's something that rubs off, and that's something that you learn, and something that you're appreciative of, and something that you as a player and then ultimately now as a fan and a former player want to support.
Exactly. Well, Rocky, I wish I'd have more time. I'm definitely going to get you in contact to have you a phone interview to do 2 segments to talk about all the stories. We could talk for hours. But where can we find more information on you, Rocky? Your website?
Oh, yeah, I got a website. Yeah, I got a website. Don't we all today? No, I have one. It's RockyBleier.com.
Okay.
Oh, very easy. Yeah, so that's
and also the Rock on Retirement Show. What time is
the Rock on Retirement Show. So I'm also in the thank you. I'm also in the financial service business. We do the Rock on Retirement Show Sundays on 104.
That was a great radio.
It's Sunday 12:30 to 1:30.
Thanks for stopping by.
You're welcome.
Have a great golfing outing, and I look forward to talking to you again. All right, you're listening to the Total Education Network Beach Lifestyle Celebrity segment, and also Total Education with Neil. We'll be back in just a moment.